fish day or something. Check it out. Holy oh yes. There's certainly no bloody freebies today. Ahoy there YouTube, welcome back to another amazing edition of Black Creek NZ. This morning we are fishing with the lad. G'day lad. Our plan today is we're going to bimble upstream and chase some big brown trout. We were up here, let's say about a week ago, fishing with a joker called Craig, and Craig managed to do this. Yeah, you got him? You're in. Jeez, he's a good fish.
Colby?
No, all good man. Yeah, that was pretty bloody epic actually. Good sized fish and taking on a little Para Adams. So today we're starting off with the Para Adams and we're going to hit some pools in the hope of finding a big mooching brown. The sun is doing its best of trying to poke up over the back hill there. And as the sun comes up, spotting conditions should improve. The river is a little bit higher than last time, but a little bit of water is not too bad for us. Anywho, that is more than enough waffle. We will head on upstream and see what we can do. Well, the intent of today was to sneak out after a bit of flooding had come through. The other day, this little creek was sitting about 5 times higher than it is today, which is a significant amount of water. What hasn't happened is the fish haven't moved back out into their normal lies yet. Just a little bit too much current for them in some spots. I'm picking they're going to be along the edges, so we're just sneaking up, watching that side over there. Maybe if we're lucky, we will find a moocher mooching away on some mayflies, because there's several mayflies hatching. That's what we want. Whether we get it or not, it's a totally different story. Well, the sun is doing its very best to pop out. We're just working along the edge of this current line. We finally spotted one. He was just up there in the riffles, feeding away quite happily. Then he must have chased something down. He's seen us and now he is straight out over there. We've put a couple of flies past him. He's not playing the game. So me and old Ning Nong here are gonna mosey on upstream and try to find another willing participant. And on today's lunch menu we've got smoky beans and chicken. What do you say there, chef? Well, I think we're about to get chased off by the rain. She's coming in. We've seen one, but the bush is wet and the river's already about a cubic or 2 cubics higher than it normally is, so it's time for us to diddy mow. Unfortunately, we're going to have to cut this trip short.
This reminds me of the movie Jungle.
Yeah, we don't want to end up like old mate getting washed down the river and never seeing each other again, so we'll pull pin. There'll be other days. Ahoy there YouTube. She's a bright and early start this morning. We've come up to the back blocks in search of another brown trout. We've been searching for the last 3 trips actually, but the last 3 trips have, well, they haven't been bad trips, but we haven't put one in the net. We haven't put one in the net for several kilometres walked, several casts. We've definitely had our chances, a few mistakes, a little bit quick on the trigger perhaps. Today is about redemption. We're going to bimble on upstream nice and slow and try to make every cast count. Today we are rocking these suckers. These are, oh, we'll call them the drift boots. And if you've watched the last couple of videos, you would have seen the poor old rise boots from Riverworks have done their dash. They are well and truly poked. They've got the Dissolve drift boots. Dissolve is the old Riverworks company. I picked these up for 250 bucks. So you guys will see how they perform over the next, well, hopefully the next 3 or 4 seasons. The rise boots lasted quite well, and we got 4 seasons out of them before they exploded. So hopefully the drifts, being slightly more expensive, prove their worth of that extra 50 bucks of my cold hard cash. That's a lot of waffle, isn't it? Right, let's pack up our bongos and see if we can put something on the board today. Fingers crossed. That's a bit flash. The boots have got a bloody bilge pump. Never had boots with bilge pump before. Geez, a misty old start this morning. Bit of fog clinging around the hills. I think it's going to burn off quite nicely though. Looking at that, beautiful blue skies. Once that heat gets up, we should see a little bit of insect activity on the water, and hopefully find a fat trout sitting there recklessly destroying anything that floats downstream towards it. Until then though, we've got to keep sneaking along. There's a nice little fish. He's just drifting backwards and forwards. He's feeding, but he's feeding subsurface. Come in, fish it, go after it. Nicely done, sir. Oh, well done.
Thanks for giving me a crack at him. Yeah, he's very...
He used to be a big fish.
He used to be a big fish. You know, that's probably, I don't know, he could probably fit 7 pound in that head, I reckon.
Yep.
Anyway, we'll send him home and hopefully get some cicada to come and eat shortly.
Yeah, look at the size of his bloody snout.
Yeah.
Inside or outside?
I would be tempted to float on his inside, but from the inside, so your line doesn't get any of the main current, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, he's not racing around side to side, but he's definitely not stiff. This one. No, he's not playing, is he? That's all right. There'll be more. No, don't worry about it, mate. There'll be more fish. How are you going to skin this one, mate?
Or just be real quiet and just go a dry up sort of. I'm not going to lead him too much because that'll spook him. Throw it off to his left somewhere so he just moves and hopefully not far enough up so he doesn't turn and face us.
Oh, he is in full feed mode. Nicely done, here he goes. Oh, you bloody ripper.
He was hungry, wasn't he?
That was good.
Like a dimple.
Oh yeah?
Like that, that's been it. That, yeah, that'll be a shag or an eel's just hit him at some point in his youth.
Yep.
Maybe he could do with another, probably another pound on him. But he was working on it.
I've just been sneaking along, and somewhere just over the other side there is quite a nice looking fish. It's taken off the surface. I can't see him anymore. I am going to flick the rod over that way and just see what happens. I think he's after a nymph. After 4 days of not catching fish, we've finally got a hook up. Nice little brown. Bloody awesome. Come on, boy. Whoa. That's the one. Come across, come across. Oh, you buddy ripper. Holy moly. You absolute bloody beauty. Oh man. I wanted to catch that fish so bloody bad. Oh, wicked. So after, this is my 4th trip, and I was fishing upstream with Peter, and we got Peter onto a couple of nice trout, and then the ones I was going for, geez, like we must have spooked them, and we just couldn't catch me a fish if he'd bloody thrown one at me. And then I saw this guy, he refused the dry, chased the dropper a couple of times. I went to a single size 14 tungsten pheasant tail on a nice long leader, and bloody wicked. We've caught a fish. We caught a bloody fish, you bloody ripper. Oh man. Chirp. I am pretty bloody chuffed. I was on the river just after 6 this morning, and after 2 pulls I had another angler come upstream, come from downstream up to me, a guy Peter, and Peter's a bit of a bloody gun fisherman actually, which is probably why Peter caught 2 fish while we were fishing together, and I drew a big fat blank. I was getting a bit worried. It was going to be my 4th trip without catching a fish. You know, the first trip I went out, spent the whole day on that beautiful river, and there were just no fish, you know, so you can't catch fish if they're not there. Second day I went out, bumped into Craig. We got Craig onto an absolute beaut of a fish, and I dropped 4, which was, you know, awesome for Craig, and it was a beaut fish, but I was having an absolute mare. Then I came out with the buoy, and it absolutely poured down the whole time we were out. Like I think we got about 2 hours of good fishing, and then the heavens opened, and man, did it belt down. It just soaked us, and we had to beat the retreat before we got flooded out of there. And then today we caught a fish, and like 12 hours of fishing, saw a couple of fish, not heaps, but saw a couple. Had a couple of chances, but to get one into the net, I am stoked. I'm quite happy, more than happy to walk all day for one good fish. And that little hen, she was an absolute beauty, beautiful coloration. Not a massively fat fish, put up a pretty good scrap, beautiful scenery. Yeah. Pretty chuffed. Merry Fishmas. To celebrate that victory, we have got a beautiful piece of homemade focaccia made by Ben from Aotearoa Real Safari Experience. And you may remember Ben from the, I think it was called the Tribulations of Trout and Teacups, where Ben was eating, making a cup of tea out of a can of tuna. So we've stopped for a brew, and Ben's bought his Aotearoa Real Safari Experience teacup with him.
You know, the measure of a good teacup, you can't just walk into Briscoe's and pick one up.
That is a good teacup. It's a classic Aotearoa Real Safari Experience teacup there. Available online. Ben's actually got a website that you can buy his Aotearoa Real Safari Experience stuff from, or you could probably pick one up at your local landfill. Yeah, beauty. And on our focaccia, we're going to throw on some Barker's red currant jelly, and we've got a beautiful cup of Dilmah English breakfast. So a cup of tea and focaccia. I think we're very, very upmarket. It's what fly fishing's all about, isn't it? Ridiculously extravagant food, buying cups of Indian tea and catching trout on backcountry rivers. I think the only thing we're missing is perhaps a tweed suit and a Jet Ranger helicopter. You won't find any of that on this channel. Bloody good. That's a big dragonfly. Well team, that is about all we have time for today. It has been an awesome day on the river. Managed to catch a fish after 3 trips. 3 blanks, and we're on the board. Bloody beauty. Hey, cheers to Craig and Pete. Awesome to share the river with you guys the other day. Some beaut fish you guys caught, and I learnt quite a bit from you guys, so yeah, thank you very much. For all the YouTube watchers out there, thanks for sticking with the channel, means a lot. I'm going to try to get as much content out to you guys as I can. Stick with us, who knows what will happen on the next video. Anything's possible on Black Creek. I've got a couple of clicks to travel before I can get home, so I better hightail it, and we'll see you fellas on the next adventure. Cheers.